let's get this done. Get this done. Let's do this first. Okay, even before I try to take that out, I'll smack around it. These are the parts I'm using. Adaptive one pads, excellent. AC Doco rotors, almost OEM, not quite. Not what comes on it, but about as close as you're going to get in the aftermarket that's readily available. There you go. A little love tap. When we go back together with this, we're going to put a little bit of anti-seize on that. These are the original brakes from 2018, currently 2025. So this is a 2018 model, which means it was built back in 2017. So what's the math there? These brakes are what? Approximately 8 years old. So if we think we're going to do something better than the factory did here by gooping up a lot of stuff that doesn't need to be gooped, you're wrong. We're going to try to do it the same way they did, because look, proof's in the pudding. It lasted a hell of a long time. And we live on a mountainside, so that's a lot of braking. Basically, ride the brakes down the hill every day. Yeah, pushes back okay. Press it free there. Good. Oh, look. That pushes back nice and free too. Beautiful. So, the only reason why I'm hanging this right now on the line is because this is a very light caliper. Quite often, I'll use one of these hooks to hang a caliper up inside, especially on the heavier stuff. But this one is a small car, it's just a little Chevy Malibu. So, it can take the weight, no problem. So what I'm doing here is, quite often people push these things back, and you have a whole bunch of dirt and grime sitting on the boot, only to have the boot be ripped and torn later on, or bind up, because the very dirt you push back into it is what's causing the issue. So keep the calipers good, get that dirt and grime off of there. Try to avoid using high pressure air, because we don't want to use air and blow it in there. And use a little bit of dirt, you use a little bit of air gently, a little bit further away if there's a spot you can't get into. But generally speaking, that's all you want to do. We're good here. Yeah, make sure that's seated. You know when you watch a cooking show and they have all the ingredients already laid out? Maybe I start doing that with my tools as well. Yeah, with the tools I'm going to need to do the job before I start the job. So I'm not walking away from the camera here. Quite often I'll just use a pad, but I had this block handy. Yeah, that's it, right. When I get one of these pads out, then I'm going to do that. Ooh, so remember where the clips go. Don't lose those. Oh yeah, we were due. And Pat slid out there, no problem. Okay, that one's a little, oh, it's binding up on the squealer back there. We'll get back to that. But it does have movement, it does have play, just doesn't want to slide backwards too far. I'm okay with that. If it was completely seized in there, then I have bigger issues. In some cases, and I'm looking at you, Honda, and other vehicles, but mostly Honda, these will start to rust, the actual anchors themselves, and the rust will build up underneath and will actually swedge and push up on these the slides here. And when they do that, they pry and push, and then these things get like wedged right in place. So make sure they're clean. The other thing I like to do, is also paint areas. Paint has this wonderful property. Like, we paint cars for a reason, so they don't rust. I like to take a moment and I'll paint the rotor, like where it bolts on here. I'll pop off the hardware, clean in behind, paint that surface. It's a couple quick shots of black paint. Something that hides. I mean, you can mask things off if you want, but, and some people use, what is that stuff, the anti-seize? Well, the problem with anti-seize is that I feel bad for a person, especially around the hub here. You ever get a flat on the side of the road, and that pushed back beautifully, by the way, hardly any effort. The average person who gets a flat on the side of the road goes to throw on their spare, takes the tire off, and everything's covered in anti-seize. They have no way of getting that off their hands. It's horrible stuff to get off your hands. I'll show you in a moment here why I'm turning this as opposed to, oh, so why I'm not turning this and I'm replacing it. We live in the Rust Belt here, so let's do it this way. Big guns. Oh, I guessed the right size the first time. Something about air tools. Sounds so much better than the new electric cordless equipment. Don't get me wrong, I have a lot of those too. But these just sound so much nice. Actual dugga. As opposed to a high-pitched rally, break your eardrum, new stuff. Okay. So you're gonna look in here, you see where it's worn normal here, and then you had the rust ridge wearing into that. Especially down here, look how deep that is. And it may not be obvious in the camera here, but this surface is way deeper. I mean, that is, I can be machining this for quite a while and I'll turn down too low. So, in the trash it goes. Oh, recycling, sorry. We recycle everywhere we can. Okay, let's drain this out. Safety glasses. I don't know if you can see how rusty it is in here, but it is a sign of the Great White North. If there's ever a reason to be a mechanic in Arizona, this is one of many reasons. Doesn't need to be perfect. But it needs to be good enough for it to work. So my backing plate is also starting to rust here. That's no fun. What happens when you spray salt right onto the roads here in the winter times, even if you don't need it. A little bit of that, a little bit of you. Just clean these off to that. When I go to tighten this up later, I don't want to tighten up on a ridge, right, of dirt. It goes off a little bit from where it's at. And then once that dirt gets pushed out or something like that, or time happens, things change. And now your caliper's loose. Let's not do that. Clean it, clean it, clean it. Oh yeah. That's amazing. Didn't even hear a brake noise. It's like right there. And the belt's going a big trip too. I'm not making a brake noise because it's not touching yet. Isn't that wild? Look how close you can get before that making noise. Huh. Just goes to show you gotta get your vehicle inspected once in a while. The last thing you want to do is go on a big trip, and now you're paying the gotcha tax and some roadside assistance, or you don't budget for things like this. In case you're wondering what that is, handy tool. There's lots out there. I bought this off a truck years ago. It's my last thing. I might actually have to get a new tool here, but that's been probably about 20 years. It's paid for itself. It doesn't owe me anything. Okay, a little bit of paint. Usually I use cardboard, but this is what I had handy. Oh, I didn't clean the tip last time properly. Barely coming out. Come on, baby. Come on. Come on, baby, let my fall out. There you go. Let's slow that rust down. Let's slow that rust down too. Not gonna fix it, but I'll give it something to fight through. Okay. I'll do this right here. Getting high off those fumes. I'm teasing, of course. But anyways. Now, a lot of kits that you get, and before I even pick that, let's do one thing while it's all together here. Even though these are 7, 8 years old, quite often they're better than the ones you get in your kits. These are true spring steel, right? So, give them a quick wipe, see how they turn out, compared to the new ones you have. Because quite often the new ones, it's like, oh look, they're all shiny and new. And the downside is that they bend too easy. They don't spring back. And you end up with squeaks and rattles. Or clunks. It's all because the spring kit is allowing things to move around because it has no bounce back. Right? They're supposed to be springs. Right? That actually is a spring there. Let's look at a new one. And I got a good kit. The kit I got is no slouch. So let's just compare apples to apples. Apples? How did I even pronounce that wrong? Oh, not bad. Not great either, but not bad. But yeah, some of these things you take out of the kits and they're just tin foil. So just pop it out carefully. Have a looking behind. Well done, GM. No rust on the back side. No spilling. Just trying to do this very carefully. I don't want to damage them in case I decide to use them. I'm still on the fence about those ones. The pads are fantastic. The pads are actually two different materials for the inner and the outer. So it gives you great braking characteristics with no noise or minimal noise. It'll be some of the quietest pads you ever found, but without all the dust buildup. Been using them for years. scrub. Quite often I'll put a wire wheel right on a drill bit and go in here and clean these, but I'm getting lucky here today. Okay. That's a good idea when doing these type of things. I know these are smooth and all the rest, but just check them. Try not to stretch these out. I use grease that's actually designed for brakes for these rubber seals. I'll clean that off a bit. Because if you put the wrong type of grease in here, these boots swell up, and now you allow water and dust and dirt and stuff to get in there. And that's not a good time by anybody, by any means. Come on, come on. Be my friend. Get out of the tube. It doesn't need much. All the way in. Burp the boot. Oh yeah. I'm liking that. Again. Sweet. That's in great shape. We'll need some more soon. Okay, that makes me a happy camper. Now, no rust of this time. I'm happy with that cleanliness. What I'm going to do though, I'm still going to paint this. Well, not much, just a little bit. Over it. That's just like that. That's all I'm looking for. I'm also looking for a can of paint that actually works. Yeah, I'll be right back, guys. I'm trying to be careful here. I would never paint this close to the customer's vehicle, except for that, of course. Usually I take this into the paint booth, do it there. But my wife wants me home. Let it dry. Okay, well that's done. This here is dry enough. Again, do your parts guy a favor. Open up the boxes in such a fashion that if you need to return something because it's the wrong part, or the wrong package, or wrong part number, open up the box in such a fashion that it can be reused. Even before I put this on here, where's my old rotor? Right there. Match it up. Confirmed. It is good. And again, we need to reuse the bag. Scissors are cheap. Slice along a seam. The parts guy, well, thank you. No one wants a ripped open bag. Before I put these dirty gloves on them. brand new rotor. Just keep looking at it that way. The other thing about this rotor, see how it's coated? That means we don't have to clean it. The non-coated rotors will have a film on them as an anti-rust agent. Okay, where's my hole? Where's my hole? Where's my hole? Oh, no, right there. The hole I'm talking about is my set screw. Do I need to use it? Actually, I don't. I don't need to use this. It just makes it a little bit easier for assemble. Not for shits and giggles, because I hate those so much. I'm going to show you my other trick for easy assembly. So I'm putting that back in, which you're welcome to. They're famous for rusting into place and painting it out later on in life. So there you go. Just lightly, pair of vice grips. It's right down where the tire actually sits, right? Your rim comes out this far and your nuts. You're not damaging any threads because this is a very light squeeze. So how do these turn out? Which ones am I going for? Let's give these a feel. What? I think I'm going to go with the new ones. Yeah. The reason for that is because they're almost identical in every which way, including weight, including how they feel, the spring resistance. All feel just like the new ones. So, or just like the original ones. So we're going to stick with that. Fold those tabs up in place. One side. There's the other side. Okay. More important stuff. I see so many people getting this wrong. Oh yeah, I got it all together. Yeah, but you put it together with a hammer and things don't slide. Notice anything about this when I took it apart? There's no grease on it. There's no lube. It lasted for ages. Oh, and check this out. Another nice thing about adaptive ones. They tell you where to put stuff. Inner, outer, red, blue. It's marked on the box as well in case you can't read. Pointing out where things go. So, inner is going to be this side. Back to what I was saying. Okay, so for putting these in, see how these pads here are a little bit extended? Go in, push down gently. Right? And then these things should just slide through by finger. You shouldn't have to take a hammer and knock them back and forth. If you need a hammer, there's something wrong. Never should have to tap these things in. And all too often, it is a quality parts. Piss poor quality. I've actually had to take customer supplied bad parts. Right, because they're, oh, I got these pads for 20 bucks. Well, yeah, but now I need to take a half an hour and start grinding it down on the grinder to get them to fit your vehicle so they can slide back and forth like this. Right? Slide back and forth. Nice and easy. Check your work. You know what the grease does around here? When you start greasing these things up, all the road dust and grime gets in there and it makes things stick. Look, there's Loctite on here before. Guess what's going back on there? Loctite. There's a family in this vehicle. There's other families on the road. Take the time to protect them all. Don't let your job be the cause of anyone's injury or being scared or having a bad day generally. And take pride in your work. I've not forgotten about the spring clips yet. If I put them in right away, I would have pushed those pads out and I would have been out of there. Okay. Just tight. Wait. Now, if it's an electric gun, and battery operated, cordless, whatever you want to call it, I'd be definitely doing this. Here, I'm doing it for the camera. Yeah, we're tight. We're tight. Yep. Don't always trust it. Put a hand tool on it, especially when it comes for brakes. See people all the time, oh yeah, I can do a brake job in 10 minutes, including the road test. I was like, what are you skipping, buddy? The only reason why you can do that is because you're skipping steps. There's a reason why book time for stuff like this is an hour, hour and a half, 2 hours. It's because they want the job done right. Your customers want that. You want that. The shop's reputation wants that. So, anyways, you saw I've got the clips all in. I don't know how I got onto that ramp. Again, speech impediment. Onto that rant. But if you're like-minded, hit the subscribe, hit the share, leave a comment, or don't. Doesn't matter to me. Again, hand tools. Oh yeah, sweet. Nice. Okay. Well, that about does it for the brakes on this side. I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. And of course, look up the actual torque spec for your wheels. Torque them, road test, double check the torque. You'd be amazed at how often you'll find one or two just 5-10 pounds less than the rest after a road test. So, yep. Again, take your time to do it right. And before I hit stop on the camera, just gotta say thank you for watching. And this is the first long episode from Davey Do It at Stone Speed Shop.